Alright, this is about to start. Salute to everybody in here right now. About to definitely watch this. Y'all see the witch hunt going on with Donald Trump right now, man. 1 second, please. Alright. Just 1 minute. Alright. It's about to start soon. They're talking about some other stuff right now. We'll play that for you though right now while it's waiting. But yeah, everybody subscribe. I do a lot of pro Donald Trump content. A lot of good videos. And it ain't just me just talking my opinion. I throw in clips for references. I show the receipts. I do all that type of stuff. So it ain't just take my word for it type thing. It's a look at the proof type thing. You know what I mean? All right, let's get this playing real quick for y'all. Let me stop the screen. Salute everybody in the chat right now. Cody Stein and Dark Meta. All right, we got this right here. It's starting right now, y'all. Right here, let's go. All right.
And welcome to Hannity, and we are in beautiful Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Hi, Iowa, how are you? We have a crowd of thousands. Many, by the way, started lining up yesterday, and we're outside. How many of you slept outside overnight? Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. To get a spot inside today, but they're not just here to see yours truly. Boo. Sorry. No, in a moment, the 45th President of the United States, current GOP frontrunner, Donald J. Trump, will join us for an exclusive town hall. We have a lot of ground to cover tonight. Now, today we learned that Biden's Department of Justice is likely pursuing even more charges against President Biden's chief political rival. According to Donald Trump, through Truth Social, he said Joe Biden's DOJ sent a letter that I am the target of the January 6th grand jury investigation and giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand jury, which almost always means an arrest and an indictment. Now, tonight, President Trump is vowing to fight any and all politically charged indictments, and if elected, he is also planning to completely reform America's two-tiered system of justice and weaponized justice system. So without further ado, joining us now to explain for the full hour tonight, the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, Sean.
Mr. President, great to see you.
Well, thank you, Sean.
You know, I came out here and they started chanting Trump, and I said, my name's Sean. Well, if you like, you can grab a seat. If you don't want, you want to stand, we can stand. Whatever you prefer is fine with me.
We'll stand later.
All right. Thank you for doing this town hall. It's great to see you. You look well. You look healthy.
Feel good. Feel good.
Let me ask you just a basic fundamental question. You have all of these never-ending attacks.
Yeah.
And you released on Truth Social earlier today that that you are a target of this January 6th grand jury. My first question to you is, it doesn't seem to bother you like I think it would bother so many other people. What is it about you that it doesn't?
No, it bothers me. It bothers me for everybody in this incredible sold-out audience, and it bothers you. I got the letter on Sunday night. Think of it. I don't think they've ever sent a letter on Sunday night. And they're in a rush because they want to interfere. It's interference with the election. It's election interference. Never been done like this in the history of our country, and it's a disgrace. What's happening to our country, whether it's the borders or the elections or kinds of things like this, where the DOJ has become a weapon for the Democrats, an absolute weapon. And it seems that every time my polls, we're leading by a lot. And we're leading by a lot in a place called Iowa, a lot. And not only with the Republicans, but we're leading against Biden by a tremendous amount. They haven't seen anything like it. And they feel, I guess, they want to try and demean and diminish and frighten people, but they don't frighten us because we're going to make America great again. That's all there is. We're going to make our country, Sean, is a mess. You know it better than anybody. I mean, frankly, your reporting is incredible.
I'll be honest, I have never been more fearful of the state of this country than I am right now.
Yeah.
Fearful about the economy, foreign policy, our future, our kids, our grandkids. I've never been this way.
Well, you look at Biden with these leaders, and they're at the top of their game, and they're looking at each other like they don't even believe what's happening. Our country is no longer respected. Think of it. 3 years ago, energy independent, powerful military that was totally rebuilt. The president announced 3 days ago, which he should never have said, probably classified information, that we have no ammunition. Now, what do you think China says when they hear we have no ammunition? No, it's a very, very sad thing. If you look at the worst border in history, we had the best border in history. We had 3 years ago the best border we've ever had. We built hundreds of miles of wall. We got Mexico free of charge. They say about Mexico. Mexico gave us billions of dollars worth of soldiers for years, 28,000 soldiers guarding our border. We had the best numbers we've ever had. Today we have, I think, the worst numbers in the world, because I don't think there's any country in the world that would stand for what's happening to us, with millions of people flowing in from, by the way, mental institutions, insane asylums. They don't like me using those names, insane asylums. But we have very bad, very sick people, very ill people coming into our country, prisons and jails all over the world. And it's not the 4 countries that we sort of consider neighbors. It's all over. Last week, we had 129 countries, representatives of people that came into our country illegally. And we're losing our country, and we're losing the spirit of our country. But I will tell you, make America great again, and MAGA, and America first, and all of these things that we talk about, there's never been more spirit. Look at this crowd. There's never been more spirit than we have right now. 2024. 2024 is the most important election that we've ever had. And I used to say it with 2016, and I meant it 100%, but we're going into almost a communistic state, and I think maybe we're even there. When you look at what they're doing with, you could call it fascist, you could call it Marxist, you could call it communist. What they're doing, like with the Department of Justice, they've totally weaponized it. It's weaponized like we've never had this before. It's not only me. Catholics, you see what's happening? Parents at school boards, they're being harassed by the Justice Department, by the FBI. Nobody's ever seen what's happening right now. And we have a guy, the head of this country. It's probably not him, it's people around him. They have people that are vicious and smart and have horrible ideas for our country. So it's really the people, in my opinion, because I don't think this guy can put together 2 sentences. I watched him last night. He's almost incapable of talking. And we have.
I'm not sure he knows today's Tuesday, sir.
Well, we have a problem. We have the potential of a war beyond the war with Russia and Ukraine, and that would have never happened before. By the way, if I were president, that would have never happened. If I were president, Ukraine and Russia.
I want to get to that. I came here today, and I watched the 2 hours with Mark Levin. I watched your hour with Tucker. I watched your hour with Brett Baer. You did 2 hours with me. I watched you on Maria. I watched your interviews, and on fake news CNN. I watched that too.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one. They had a town hall.
That was a Trump
They
classic.
ended up firing the head of CNN. And they got the highest ratings in 11 years, and they fired. It's supposed to be the opposite.
By the way, you might want to start a show, and at the end of every show, say to somebody, you're fired. That would work, right?
You're fired.
All right. But I wanted to talk about the problems and the solutions. In other words, identify the problems and the solutions.
Okay.
We cannot ignore today's events, today when you put out your Truth Social post. And by that, I want to talk about what is clearly now what the Judiciary Committee under Jim Jordan is looking into, whether or not our FBI and our Department of Justice have been weaponized and politicized. And I have two headlines here. You know, FBI tipped off Biden team, Secret Service, about plan to interview Hunter, according to a supervisory agent who retired. Tomorrow, there will be another IRS whistleblower, just like this man, Mr. Chapley, who came out and said, no, he should have been indicted on felony charges, and I've been doing this, meaning Hunter Biden. Then I can take you back, and you know that I covered this every single night, and my show was vindicated on the issue of Trump-Russia collusion that never occurred. The Durham report corroborated it, the Horowitz report. It's a long way of me asking this very simple, basic question. And that is, if you look at Hillary Clinton and the way she was treated, no prosecutor would prosecute, 33,000 subpoenaed emails deleted, devices destroyed. Then her dirty dossier. And that dossier was used to get 4 FISA warrants. And then you look at the FBI in 2019. They had Hunter Biden's laptop in December of 2019. They verified it in March of 2020. And yet FBI agents in the months leading up to that election were meeting with big tech companies, telling them, according to Yoel Roth, the former Twitter integrity site head, telling them that it might be about Joe or Hunter. That laptop story got censored. The American people were denied the truth about what would be a bombshell story.
And by the way, it still is censored because they haven't really gotten into the meat with all of the great reporting done, and there has been some great reporting done. Generally speaking, the press is fake. It's fake, and it's just horrible, actually. But there's still been some great reporters and great reporting done, and you are at the lead. You've been incredible. But when you look, but Sean, when you look at that, they haven't even gotten to the bottom of the laptop. They don't want to put the pictures in. They don't want to. They have pictures in there that anybody else, they go away for 10 years. What happened to Hunter is he got a traffic ticket. Other people are being sentenced to many years in jail for doing much less. He got a traffic ticket. The only good thing is the people know it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Now, Jim Jordan and Jamie Comer, these guys are doing a great job. But the problem is you find out the crime, but nothing happens with it. Instead, they go after you.
Like, for example, Hillary Clinton's home wasn't raided.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's garage wasn't raided. The UPenn Center wasn't raided. The University of Delaware wasn't raided. His home, beach home, I don't know how he affords a beach home on a senator's salary, that wasn't raided. Hunter Biden was being protected, obviously. Cocaine in the White House, 10-day investigation. They literally interviewed nobody. Okay, investigation's over. Would that have happened in your White House?
Well, listen to this. Even you mentioned the beach home. Well, the beach home had all these documents in it, right? It was by the Corvette. They're on the floor, classified documents.
No, that's not the beach home. The beach home was another place they found.
No, this is also the beach home. And they had the Corvette, where they had the Corvette. Yeah. And a tremendous amount of payment was made for that home by somebody to Joe Biden. And it was a big story for about one day, and then you don't hear about it anymore. It's incredible. But when you look at the documents all over the place, whatever happened to that one? They go after me on documents, and I have the Presidential Records Act, which is a big deal. And the Presidential Records Act is an act. Thank you.
Why weren't their homes raided?
They know better than anybody else.
Why weren't their homes raided?
Well, let me just tell you, I'm protected by Presidential Records Act. And they come up with this obscure, crazy theory, a madman theory. This guy is a deranged prosecutor who's had tremendous failures all over the place. He's a nasty, horrible human being. They come after me. Now, Biden has many thousands. I mean, he's got 2,000, almost 2,000 boxes of documents. They can't get to him because the college or whatever that has him doesn't want to give him. And he probably told the college. But more importantly, China gives millions of dollars to UPenn. That's where he has some. He's got them all over the place. And maybe worst of all, he's got documents in Chinatown. In Chinatown, many, many documents, boxes of documents. You don't ever hear about this. All you hear about is Trump. And I'm totally covered by the Presidential Records Act and also by the Clinton socks case. You know what that is? That's where Clinton took out tapes in his socks and he put them in his drawer. And they sued him just on a very civil basis. And he ended up winning the lawsuit. And the judge said he can have whatever he wants. And that's called the Presidential Records Act.
What about Sandy Berger shoving documents down his pants?
Oh, there are many instances of it. But especially when you're president, and Joe Biden wasn't president. You're only covered by the Presidential Records Act if you're president. Joe Biden wasn't president. In fact, Joe Biden was senator for many years, and they've got a lot of classified documents when he was senator, and other Democrat senators can't even believe the fact that he has these documents. Can't even, they said, I watched Dick Durbin, here's another beauty. I watched Dick Durbin saying, I can't believe that he took them. He couldn't even believe it. So it's a two-tier system, but it's worse than that. It's a very corrupt system.
Okay, so my question to you is, when you see that Hillary had top secret classified information and the conclusion of Jim Comey, no prosecutor would ever prosecute, 33,000 subpoenaed emails deleted, devices destroyed. Okay, then we have the FBI in early October of 2016 sent agents over the pond to meet with Christopher Steele. They offered him $1 million to verify any part of that dossier.
To get Trump.
Okay, they couldn't verify it. Then, in late October, even though it wasn't verified, they used that, according to Andrew McCabe, Deputy FBI Director, without that dirty dossier, they would never have gotten those FISA warrants approved. Now, they knew that they couldn't verify it. The Dura report confirmed none of it was true. And yet they would use that as a backdoor to spy on your campaign and your presidency. Yep. Is that a dual system of justice?
No, and the whole thing with FISA was horrible. But you know, one thing we did that was so great, I fired Comey very early. And a lot of people said, oh, you should have done it. Well, you know, they're given a term. They're given a term very early. Not immediately early, but very early in a few months. And I got rid of this guy. And by doing that, it was like you threw a rock at a hornet's nest. The whole thing collapsed. You saw the love letters back and forth with the different people talking about the insurance policy. You know what the insurance policy, that was against me.
That was how to
If she, for some reason, loses, darling, we have an insurance policy. The insurance policy is they'll get me out. One way or the other, they'll get me out. Because you know what? This is 30, 35 years of being put into government. And you get there. And initially, I didn't know people in Washington. I was there 17 times in my entire life. I never stayed over before this. All of a sudden, I'm president of the United States. I relate. And we had tremendous people also. Don't forget, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history, rebuilt our military, took out ISIS, took out Soleimani, took out al-Baghdadi, the two biggest terrorists in the world. I mean, what we did was incredible. Strongest border we've ever had. Everything was good. No inflation. Best economy in history. We did all of this stuff. We had tremendous people. Look, they made a lot of money. Yeah. So we had tremendous people. But we also had some. You rely on others. You rely on people that you knew. You rely on other politicians to give you answers. And you find out that they are rhinos or they gave you bad advice. So we had some that weren't good. But when you think, Comey had a term. He had many years left in that term. I said, this guy's bad news. I realized it very early in the administration. I fired him. And it was wild. That's when we found out all of the corruption. Had I not fired Comey, you wouldn't know any of the things that you were talking about.
You think they would have destroyed you?
Well, they were trying to take me out. Yeah, they were trying to take me out. I mean, it was like a coup. It was like a coup. Had I not, you know, it's very interesting. Some people that are very smart, that you know very well, said when I did it, oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. You're going to cause. Now they say it was the greatest instinctual move they've ever seen because Comey was a very bad guy. And Comey led that group of thugs in there. And they were doing a number. It's very dishonest. It's years and years of putting in people, Democrats and rhinos and other people, but putting them into office. And we got rid of a lot of them, but we're going to get rid of a lot more, because you have some bad people.
One more question on this. In the past, I think it's been a mistake. I'm like you. I think we should have paper ballots, same-day voting, make Election Day a national holiday, and have partisan observers in every precinct watching the voting and then watching the vote counting. And when the polls close, declare a winner, game over.
Right.
But that's not the system we have. Republicans have been reluctant and resistant towards early voting, mail-in voting, and they've also been resistant towards legal ballot harvesting, which Democrats have mastered, which is why they can hide in their basement, run hundreds of millions of dollars in ads, and never answer a press question or shake a hand or kiss a baby or do a town hall. My question is, do you now encourage and embrace early and voting by mail, and legal ballot harvesting?
I do, but I also have to say something else, because the one thing a lot of people,
but this is important,
including you, don't talk about, they also create phony ballots, and that's a real problem. That's my opinion. But they create a lot of phony ballots.
Has your mind shifted? In other words, I think if Republicans start out Election Day down 200, 300, 500,000 votes, that becomes nearly impossible to catch up with.
For some reason, Republicans always wanted to go out on Tuesday and they wanted to vote, and I respect that. I think it's great, and it would be great if we could get back to one day and all the things that you said with one thing else.
I agree with you.
With voter ID, because the Democrats don't want
signature verification.
How about this? They don't want voter ID because they want to cheat. They want to cheat. They don't want voter ID. Even the Democrats, regular Democrat people want voter ID, but the leaders don't because they can't cheat. The one thing we have to be very careful of is phony ballots. Everything you say is great, but they create ballots. That's my opinion, and that's the opinion of a lot of people.
Will you encourage your voters, based on the system we have, to go along with the system of early voting and voting by mail? Because
I will.
I think if you don't, it's a big mistake.
No. I will, but those ballots get lost also, Sean. They send them in and all of a sudden they're gone. Those ballots get lost also. The answer is I will, because you would like it. But you know what? Can I be honest?
For me, okay.
But I
got to take a break.
But Sean, a lot of bad things happen to those ballots also. They're sent in early and all of a sudden, where are they? Look, we have very corrupt elections. We have no borders. If you don't have borders and if you don't have good elections, you don't have a country, and that's where we are. But I'm okay with it.
By the end of this year, we'll probably have, under Joe Biden, nearly 8 million illegal immigrants since he's been president. Quick break. More of our exclusive town hall with President Donald J. Trump straight ahead. We're going to take questions from the audience as we continue from beautiful. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Stay with us.
The host of Live PD, Sean Sticks Larkin, is back, bringing you some of the wildest footage across the country.
Welcome to Crime Cam 24/7.
And you won't believe what we found. Every camera helps tell a story.
What you just saw right here was an up-close view of just how fast things go down.
Criminals. You're being watched. Sean Sticks Larkin hosts Crime Cam 24/7, the exclusive new series, streaming now only on Fox Nation.
SiriusXM savings are on, and you don't want to miss out. Get your favorite ad-free music, plus sports, news, exclusive entertainment, and more for $5 a month for your first year, plus a free upgrade to our Platinum plan. There's so much for you to discover on SiriusXM. So join now and enjoy the ride. Don't miss this great offer. Fees and taxes apply. See offer details. Scan to subscribe now.
Pop quiz. Did you know you can lose weight with a plan that fits your budget and your goals? Introducing Quick 9 from Nutrisystem. Lose up to 9 pounds your first 2 weeks. You get delicious frozen meals delivered right to your door with convenient shipments at an affordable price and fast weight loss.
I'm saving money and I'm losing weight.
It's flexible, it's affordable, and it works. Get off to a fast start with Quick 9. Call or go online right now to get over 50% off plus free extras.
I started teaching my grandkids archery, but I wasn't feeling very spry and peppy. I've been taking Balance of Nature, and it's definitely given me an energy boost so that I can keep up with the grandkids. Well, they're always going to have more energy than I do, but Balance of Nature definitely has given me more energy.
For a limited time this summer, get $25 off your first order as a preferred customer, plus a free fruits and veggies travel set when you use discount code Fox News.
This past year, we've all let ourselves go a little. But now it's time for everyone to step up their game. With Wolf and Shepherd. Wolf and Shepherds look great with full grain, Italian leather, and classic styling. But they're my go-to shoes because of how they feel. Cushy, light, and super comfortable. Okay, guys, let's get to work.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we grew sick and tired of flying flags that were made overseas, flags that would rip and tear easily. So we really made a commitment to quality. All of our flags are finished with bar tacking at all of the stress points, and they are sewn using double needle lock stitching.
All of our flags materials are sourced in America, and they are made by American seamstresses. So we're American made from beginning to end.
Shop now at showallegiance.com.
Way back in 1982, we took care of about 40 kids and had to turn away over 250. It was the emotion of that moment that said, man, that just isn't fair. And I think it was at that moment that Operation Smile was born.
Every 3 minutes, a child is born with a cleft condition. Thousands are waiting for the cleft surgery and care your support gives. They need you. Give joy and a new smile. Scan the code or go online to give today.
I managed to book the last room for $150. Me too. Some hotel booking sites panic you into booking the last room. Instead, use Trivago. Trivago will search for availability and compare hotel prices from hundreds of websites worldwide.
Hotel Trivago. Super Beta Prostate is the #1 urologist recommended prostate supplement. And now you can find it in every Walmart nationwide. Don't ignore your prostate health. Get Super Beta Prostate.
Ted Cruz on Jesse Waters Primetime, speaking out against the movie of the summer. What woke messaging is Barbie hiding? Find out tomorrow on Jesse Waters Primetime.
The future. The way you see it is said to depend on where you sit. At X-Chair, we think it also gets down to how you sit, which is why our technology is light years ahead. X-Chair has done it again with our groundbreaking LMX technology, providing hours of infinite comfort no matter where in the world you're sitting. By synthesizing the universe's elements, bringing hot, cold, and touch into one extraordinary seating experience, our mission is to help you discover that every workday can happen with body and mind in an out-of-this-world place of comfort and productivity. X-Chair is charting a new course, helping workers everywhere find comfort as their work worlds zoom back and forth. Even though your work reality may continue to shift, we've got our eye on the future of work, so you can focus on the present. At X-Chair, we're gazing ahead. And from where we sit, the future still feels good. Visit xchair.com to find out how you can own an X-Chair for only $20 a month. xchair.com.
How do you make the most flavorful and delicious pasta sauce? At Botticelli, we grow our own tomatoes in Italy, then pick them fresh and rush them to our own kitchens, where we create farm-to-table pasta sauce in small batches, using only real, fresh ingredients. At Botticelli, we don't use artificial flavors, added sugars, or preservatives because nothing beats fresh. Only Botticelli can give your family a truly authentic Italian farm-to-table dinner. Get it at any retailer near you.
Welcome to Fox News Live. I'm Matt Finn in Los Angeles. North Korea launched ballistic missiles into the sea shortly after a U.S. nuclear-capable submarine arrived in South Korea today. The USS Kentucky's rare stop in Busan is the first visit since the 80s. Tensions have been rising in the region, with North Korea testing its weapons at the same time the U.S. and South Korea are increasing joint military drills. And a U.S. service member is in North Korean custody tonight after crossing the border without authorization. The soldier served 2 months in a South Korean prison on an assault charge. 16 Michigan Republicans are facing felony charges for allegedly acting as fake electors for former President Trump. They're accused of submitting false certificates confirming they were legitimate electors. Joe Biden ultimately claimed victory in Michigan. I'm Matt Finn. Now back to Hannity.
continue. We are in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with the 45th and possibly 47th President of the United States. Donald Trump is with us. You know, we had this whole issue of cocaine in the White House.
Yeah.
Okay. I could only imagine what the reaction would have been in the media and with others about this. And here's what bothers me about it. They had a 10-day investigation. They have cameras on every single person that walked into that area.
That's right.
They didn't interview a single person. And after 10 days, they declared the investigation is over. We don't know who did it. Now, what's your reaction to that?
So I know the area very well. It's very private, actually, in a true sense, and they probably have more cameras.
First, there was 3 different locations.
Yeah, well, they don't even know what location, and they also said the Bidens weren't there, and they were there. It turned out to be, false. A lot of false reporting, a lot of misinformation. They dis and misinformation, right? Nobody's ever explained the difference, but let's assume they're pretty close. You have more cameras in that area than any place probably in the world. You have the Situation Room. The Situation Room, I never even thought of it in terms of this, but probably the most important room anywhere in the world. There's no more important. Wars are decided, nuclear's decided, weapons are decided. It's been there. There's nothing more important. They have cameras.
That's where you decided to take out Soleimani. That's where you decided to take out Baghdadi and associates. Right?
Defeat ISIS. Don't forget, we defeated ISIS. I was told it would take 3 to 4 years to defeat ISIS, so we probably couldn't do it. I did it in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks, right? And took out the worst. But the Situation Room is very heavily guarded. They know they know everything. The other thing, I have a great respect for Secret Service. I deal with them all the time. They are really incredible people. And Secret Service knows what's happening. They know what's happening. So I think it's very disappointing that after just a few days that was over. That's a big deal. Cocaine. Now, the cocaine, as they say, could have been worse. They could have gone to the bioweapons. They could have gone to a lot of other
Anthrax.
things. But cocaine's pretty bad if somebody's taking cocaine and making decisions.
What if there was fentanyl in it? What if it was anthrax?
Well, it could have been a lot of
God forbid.
It could have been a lot of things. And they have cameras, and I would imagine it doesn't stop here. But Secret Service is so incredible. They don't get enough credit. And they're under the orders of other people. But I think Secret Service would be able to tell you the real answer. But you can't have a thing like that. The most embarrassing thing for our country, we were respected. 3 years ago, this country was respected. And Putin knew he couldn't do it, and President Xi of China knew he couldn't do it. You know, I gave Iowa and farmers, the farm states, $28 billion from China. $28 billion. That's why I said, I go around. I don't want to be too boisterous on this because you never know, right? But I said, there's no way I can lose Iowa, Nebraska, any of these states. There's no way, because I gave the farmers $28 billion from China. No person, no president's ever gotten 10 cents from China. I got hundreds of billions of dollars, and I went to the Secretary of Agriculture. How much has... They obviously got a check. But thank you. I love you too, I will tell you that. But think of President Xi, central casting, brilliant guy. When I say he's brilliant, everyone says, oh, that's terrible. You call him. Well, he runs 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. Smart, brilliant, everything perfect. There's nobody in Hollywood like this guy. I got them to pay us $28 billion because they screwed our farmers for years. And I had the Secretary of Agriculture come up, and I said, give me a number. They said, it's $28 billion. Comes back a week later, it's $28 billion. I said, that's a lot. I said, well, we're going to take it from China. I got $28 billion for the farmers. Who got a check? Did everybody get a check? And I also made the USMCA. We had the worst trade deal that we ever made, NAFTA. You got killed on NAFTA. And I made it the best trade deal, the USMCA. That's Mexico and Canada. I got billions and billions of dollars from Japan and other countries that were taking advantage. You couldn't sell into Japan.
Did that money help pay for the wall?
Let me tell you what paid for the wall. What really helped? Mexico was great. You know, they all say Mexico. Mexico paid much more than what I was asking for because I had 28,000 soldiers on the border when I was building the wall. And we built almost 500 miles of wall. And you know, our opponents, you know what they say? If there's a little rotted out 2x4 laying on the ground that's been there for 50 or 60 years, and you can, they would say when we build a 30 and 40-foot wall, oh, that's just a renovation. That's not included. We built almost 500 miles of wall. We renovated a lot. Then I said, let's build another 200 miles because there were some areas that were weak. And it was all there, ready to be installed, and they didn't do it. But Mexico, I said to the president, you have to do me a favor. You have to do us a favor. We need 28,000 soldiers on the border, Mexican soldiers. He laughed at me. And, you know, I have a very good relationship with him. But he said, but why would we do that? Because they're coming in through Mexico. You have to stop them from coming in from Mexico. They're coming in caravans. He said, we can't do that. Then he had a representative come to see the State Department person. And the State Department person said, you know, I've been doing this for years. We've always asked for a lot of different things like remain in Mexico. I got remain in Mexico passed. Nobody thought it was possible. All of the different catch and release. How about this? You catch a criminal and you release him into the United States, okay? I got catch and release. But I got this, and they said to me, we won't do it. We won't do it. They smiled. They laughed. They said, are you crazy? We wouldn't do this. I said, yes, you'll do it. Because if you don't do it, we're going to put a 25% tax on all of your cars coming in from Mexico, and you're going to do it. We're going to take in billions of dollars, and we'll do it ourselves. So Mexico gave us billions of dollars of free soldiers, free of charge. You know, they came back into the room after saying, actually sort of laughing at me, how stupid a question this was. They said, you think we're not going to do that? I said, yes, you will. You'll do that. He said, we're not going to do that. And I said, well, we're putting a tariff on all of your products, including all the cars that you stole, because, you know, they have 32% of our car business left from Mexico. I said, we're going to put we're going to put a tariff, 25%. It's going to go higher, but 25%. Take in billions. He said, may I leave the room, please? Yes. He comes back 5 minutes later. We would be honored to give you 28,000. So Mexico paid plenty.
Let me go back to the China issue. Think of all the incidents we had. The Chinese spy balloon that, you know, went from the skies of Alaska down to Idaho, across to Montana, over missile sites, Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, out the coast, the East Coast. And I look at the communist Chinese now confronting our Navy ships in international waters, confronting our fighter jets in international airspace, on top of intellectual property theft, on top of COVID-19, on top of unfair trade practices, devaluation of the dollar, I believe attempts to eliminate the U.S. dollar as the world's currency.
That's right. They want to do that. They're working hard on it. That would be a disaster.
And now they've aligned with Russia and Iran. And now they're negotiating deals.
North Korea.
And North Korea. Now they're negotiating deals between the Saudis and the Iranians and the Saudis and the Syrians. Now, I think China is taking advantage of a president that has abdicated his role as the most dominant, America being the most dominant force in the world. Would they have ever done that under you, and how would you have prevented it?
Number one, they wouldn't have done it. Number two, if they did it, I would have said, excuse me, we're going to put a 100% tariff on all of your goods that are coming into the United States. And they would have backed up immediately. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And as I said, not one president for many presidents ever took in anything. You know, they revered China. I don't know. I also explained, hey, we all love China. Let's love China. Let's respect the president. Let's respect everybody. But they took advantage of the United States, making hundreds of billions of dollars a year. We built their military because they made so much money. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China.
Do you think Taiwan is going to get invaded?
Well, I think they have no respect for Biden. They have no respect whatsoever for him. It would have never happened. I met with Putin, and I said, listen, if you do this, really, really bad things are going to happen to Russia. And I don't want to say because I'm not going to get into that. But I said, really bad things. He said, no, 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 you would never do that. I said, yes, I would. And he said, no, I don't like that. But, you know, maybe he didn't believe it, but he believed it 5% or 10%, and that's all he needed. I said, bad thing. Said the same thing to President Xi. I had a great relationship with, frankly, both of them. And, you know, having a good relationship with these guys, they're smart, tough, and they have a lot of nuclear weapons. Having a good relationship, I tried to explain this to the fake news. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. There has nobody's been rough on Russia like I have. I'm the one that ended Nord Stream 2. Nord Stream 2 is the big pipeline going into Germany and all over Europe. I ended it. That's the worst thing that any president or anybody has ever done to Russia. I ended their pipeline, and the money that, and Putin said to me, how could you do that? I ended it. And Biden came in and he approved it. I put sanctions in. I gave the javelins, which are anti-tank busters, I gave the javelins to Ukraine. When they took out all those tanks, that was from Trump. You know what? Obama, when they say, oh, Trump was good to Russia. I was the worst thing that ever happened. But I still got along with Putin, and he respected me. And I got along with Xi, and he respected our country. They no longer respect our country.
Okay, you have said very boldly you could end this Ukrainian-Russia war in 24 hours.
Yeah.
How?
So I know Zelensky very well because he was very honorable with the fake phone call, impeachment hoax #1. They said I made a phone call to him, and I was very threatening. I wasn't at all. I was actually very nice. I was congratulating him on a victory. But when they asked him, they said, were you threatened? He didn't even know what they were talking about. He was very honorable. He could have done grandstand and said, yeah, I felt threatened. I felt threatened. He didn't do that. And as you know, I get along very well with Putin. I would tell Putin, got to settle. I would tell Zelensky, you got to settle. I would tell one, you're going to load up with money. I'd tell the other, you're not going to get any money. I would get a settlement in 24 hours. Now, it should have never happened. You have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dead people right now, hundreds of thousands. You have cities that are obliterated. I don't know if you've ever seen the cities after they finish with the rockets. You have cities with no buildings standing. It looks like just a demolition zone. It's so horrible.
Sad.
And and then they'll say 2 people were hurt. No, hundreds of people and thousands of people were killed. You're going to find out when this whole thing is over that the number of people killed is far greater than they tell you. They're not telling you the truth. Many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are dying. These cities are being obliterated. And basically they say, what's your stance? Are you for Russia or are you for... I'm for one thing very simple. I want to stop people from getting killed, and I'll have it stop fast.
Take a break. We'll come back. Up next, we'll talk about the 2024 primary. And one big question is the Biden family, with their business dealings with China and Russia and Romania and Ukraine and Kazakhstan and Mexico and a dozen other countries, are they compromised? More with Donald Trump on the other side, straight ahead.
When you're with your friends, you think nothing could possibly happen.
That's exactly right.
Madison goes to a bar. Things had gotten out of control, dropped off in the middle of a dark highway, and then is hit by a truck.
And you get to the hospital, you walk in. What happened?
I promised her that I would fight to find out the truth.
Left for Dead. Streaming now on Fox Nation.
I'm on the road all the time. I am not the best eater. My wife and kids will tell
man,
you
Donald
I'm
Trump's
not the best
cooking
eater.
right
They
now.
said, Dad, fruits and...
Hold on, they just on a commercial break right now. Donald Trump is cooking. Y'all know, just for the context, Donald Trump, they coming after him again, trying to indict him for the January 6th thing, which he clearly told them don't do half that shit they went down there and did. And then, the Ray Epps guy and encouraging everybody to run into the Capitol. He got accused of being an FBI agent. A lot of that stuff seemed like the feds were trying to set Donald Trump up, and they coming after him on that right now. And now he's on Hannity cooking their ass right now. So definitely salute everybody in the chat. VOA, Dark Meta, Solo, Bruce Lee, Nando, A. Smith, Squad. Everybody in the chat, man. Big salute everybody watching. Subscribe to the channel. I got all types of content, documentaries, pro Donald Trump content, anti-deep state content, all that type of stuff. You'll definitely appreciate that. And yeah, they about to get back to the interview right after this commercials. So yeah, man, thanks everybody for tuning in.
Your promo code to get your limited edition 20th anniversary MyPillow queen size. Retails for $69.98, now only $19.98. That's right, only $19.98.
With my 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Sleep well, America!
It's important to know that you're staying safe at home. Visiting Angels is committed to your safety and comfort. Our compassionate caregivers provide
another thing real quick. Y'all would definitely want to check out these OceanGate videos I did, really tying the Democrats into a whole bunch of stuff. I know some of y'all heard about the JP Morgan Chase Bank deleting all them emails, like millions of emails, kind of reminiscent of the Hillary Clinton thing, you know, email gate, we'll call that, along with OceanGate. Well, a lot of them emails was tied into, you know, the whole Epstein thing and then the whole Ukraine thing and all that. I tie all that stuff in on my OceanGate videos, so, you know, I made a playlist on YouTube to make them all easily findable. I put receipts up there, clips supporting the narrative that I'm painting in the video, so it ain't just talking, it's actually showing you the work, actually all the research being done and everything. It's very, very interesting. So yeah, check that out. Check out my videos out on Sound of Freedom. You know the left is trying to cover up that movie right now. Big salute to all the patriots in the building, man. Y'all are appreciated. They're about to get back to the interview right now. They just on a commercial break. So yeah, man, thanks everybody that tuned in.
The universe created you and me. But what are the problems? Why do we see war and famine and all of these things? Well, it's because of sin. The world is infected with sin, and sin separates you from God. But God sent his son, Jesus Christ, from heaven to this earth to take your sins. And he died and shed his blood on a cross for your sins. And God raised him to life. If you've never invited Jesus Christ to come into your heart, into your life, you can do that right now. Just pray this prayer with me. Just say, God, I'm a sinner. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I believe that Jesus is your son. I want to trust him as my Savior, and I want to follow him as my Lord from this day forward, forever. Amen. You prayed that prayer, call the number on the screen.
The IRS whistleblowers testify. As new details are revealed, how could they impact the Hunter Biden case? James Comer has exclusive insight from Capitol Hill tomorrow on Hannity.
The future. The way you see it is said to depend on where you sit. At X-Chair, we think it also gets down to how you sit, which is why our technology is light years ahead. X-Chair has done it again with our groundbreaking LMX technology, providing hours of infinite comfort no matter where in the world you're sitting. By synthesizing the universe's elements, bringing hot, cold, and touch into one extraordinary seating experience, our mission is to help you discover that every workday can happen with body and mind in an out-of-this-world place of comfort and productivity. X-Chair is charting a new course, helping workers everywhere find comfort as their work worlds zoom back and forth. Even though your work reality may continue to shift, we've got our eye on the future of work, so you can focus on the present. At X-Chair, we're gazing ahead. And from where we sit, the future still feels good. Visit xchair.com to find out how you can own an X-Chair for only $20 a month. xchair.com.
False or misleading search results can negatively impact your life. A bad online reputation can put you at significant risk of losing job opportunities.
All right, whoever's just tuning in or whatever, they're just on a commercial break. It's about to come right back. Man, they know Trump running the numbers up, so they running like 50 commercials between each thing because they know all the eyes is on it right now. That's just how that business works. You know, they're smart. Trump come on, the numbers go up, ads get ran, revenue gets, you know, streamed.
1-877-866-8555.
Welcome back to Hannity. We are in beautiful Cedar Rapids, Iowa. What a great, fun crowd we have with GOP frontrunner Donald J. Trump. And we continue. So we just got done talking about China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and we have a little problem here, and that is the Biden family. Joe Biden said to this country repeatedly during your 2020 election that he never once spoke with his son, Hunter, about his foreign business dealings. Yeah. Now, then we have Joe on tape bragging that he leveraged $1 billion taxpayer dollars to get a prosecutor fired in Ukraine. Right. Okay, and as a result, son of a bee, they fired him. And then Hunter continued to get paid. Hunter goes on Good Morning America. I have no experience in oil, gas, energy, or Ukraine. Why are they paying you all that money? He actually said, I don't know. I mean, a 50-year-old man. Okay, here's my bigger question, though. Now we know about the WhatsApp message, which said, I am sitting here with my father. And we now have photographic evidence. We have times and places of meetings of Joe and Hunter and foreign business partners all meeting. And they have found all of these bank accounts. James Comer's now saying it's up to 30, maybe $40 million in business, the Biden family. I want an answer to this question. Do you believe, with all the millions that they did in business with China and Russia and Ukraine and Kazakhstan and Romania and Mexico and all these countries, is that why Russia got the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? Is that why there were no consequences for the spy drone that China sent, or their hostility towards our Navy and Air Force?
So
are they compromised?
I think no question about it. Look, you have China paying millions of dollars just that one conversation, which sounded like a mobster conversation.
Within
extortion.
a week.
They got $5 million. Then they got another 5.2 million, I guess, from the same group. So they got 10.2 million. That comes from China. And that's only one that they've covered so far. I understand they have much more than that.
That's the energy giant.
And what about Ukraine? So we've given, and we want to help people. We have a heart. We got to help people too. But we're in for almost $200 billion in Ukraine, and Europe is in for $20 billion. Why are we? And you know, Europe is essentially the same size as us in the economy if you add it all up. Europe and the U.S. are about the same size. Why isn't Europe in for 200 or more than us? Why aren't they in? They're affected much more than us because nobody asked them. You know, I asked them for the money for NATO because the U.S. was paying for NATO. And Europe, by the way, treats us very badly on trade. Not so much anymore, but that's going to change because they're back to their old ways. But why aren't they? I got hundreds of billions of dollars for these countries by asking. All I had to do was ask. I asked. They said, are you going to protect us from Russia? I said, are you delinquent? They said, let's assume we were. I said, I will not protect you from Russia. And then the money started pouring in. We got hundreds of billions of dollars coming in, and they were very happy. But look at Ukraine, where Hunter's getting hundreds of thousands a month, and like I guess, from what they say, a $3 million upfront payment to sit in an energy company, and he knows nothing about energy. The debate. So I had a debate, and Chris Wallace, who was terrible, he sure is not his father. He's not the great Mike Wallace. He wants to be, but he doesn't have the talent. But Chris Wallace is terrible. And I mentioned to him that why is the mayor of Moscow's wife paying the Biden family $3.5 million? And he said, you shouldn't ask that question. I said, why not? And Joe was trying to answer it, but he couldn't answer it. It wasn't going well. And Chris Wallace cut me off. He said, you shouldn't. I said, I have two people I'm debating, not one. The one I definitely don't mind. But Chris Wallace, how's he doing lately, Chris Wallace? Not too good. Not too good. Like two people are watching this show. But here's the story. So Russia's giving them massive amounts of money. Ukraine's giving them massive amounts of money. And China's giving them massive amounts of money. And then there are many other countries also. It's horrible. It's horrible. They're compromised. Joe Biden is a compromised president. And you know what? Until I got indicted, I had such respect for the office of the president. I didn't want to say things. I would do numbers on him and, you know, but not like this.
You actually yelled at me once for being too tough on him.
No, I thought you were joking too much. I thought you should take it seriously because I think it's a very serious
I talked about
problem.
Joe and his he's a cognitive mess. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
You know, so
No, but Sean was making sort of comedy out of it. And I said, honestly, Sean, it's a serious problem because we're in the nuclear age and we have a man in charge of our country.
You were right.
Who doesn't have a clue. And I said, there's nothing funny about it. And I did tell him that.
There is nothing funny.
And he sort of changed a lot. And by the way, this man's doing very well on television. I don't know if you watch ratings, but his ratings are very good. I'll have to. Because he never says, I always say, why don't you take a commercial saying how successful your show is, how good your ratings are? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But he's a good man, and he loves this country, I can tell you. But they are compromised. Sean, we have a compromised president. China gives him millions of dollars. If he's given Biden millions of dollars, he's compromised. Now, that's only the stuff they found. There's a lot of other things, and there'll be some things that you never find, but there's a lot of other things. So he's getting millions of dollars illegally from China, and then you say, hey, they impeached me over a phone call that was perfect. Why aren't they impeaching Biden for receiving tens of millions of dollars? Why isn't he under impeachment?
I know we're at a a point where 60-some-odd% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
In my early adult life, I lived paycheck to paycheck. I could barely pay my rent. That was for a number of years. I know what it's like. It's not fun. We have the average American now has $54,000 in debt. Biden inflation has cost the average American household over $10,000 a year. We can't afford this, on top of $37 trillion in debt. How quickly and what would you do to get this economy turned around?
It'll go so quickly. Number one, I'm closing that border like I had it. We had the best border ever. And by the way, I think you all agree. We want people to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally. We had a good system. They were taking tests. We want people that love our country, not people that want to blow up our shopping centers and our farms. So I want people, but I would make our border so strong and get off the criminals. We have many criminals in our country now that weren't here 3 years ago. I will get them out. ICE and
It's a
Border
big burden
Patrol
on the economy.
I will drill, baby, drill. You know the expression, drill, baby, drill. You get energy way down. When energy comes down, inflation's going to come down.
All right, more with our town hall. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with Donald Trump. Straight ahead.
Salonpas Lidocaine Flex, a super thin, flexible patch with maximum OTC strength lidocaine that contours to the body.
It's just commercials. They will be back in a second. Yeah, man. How many of y'all think that it is kind of scary? Do you think Joe Biden's really that demented, or do you think that that's just like this act to where if they end up getting caught for this treasonous behavior, they could just blame it on the dementia? Like, hey man, he just didn't know what he's doing. He's just incompetent. I think that's some bullshit. I think he is old as hell. He can't speak a sentence. Maybe that was, why they wanted to put somebody like that in there, so they could blame all the incompetence on the cognitive disorder, whatever the fuck they call the shit. But I don't know if I'm gonna buy that. Oh, he's just old. That's why he's doing all this bullshit. Yeah, I don't get it, man. The everything about the dudes just shows like he's compromised. Like you can't say anything more than that. Like people got their hand in this dude's pocket. He's willing to sell out and give these guys the upper hand for a little bit of money, and remember, it's gonna come back on. So anybody that's tuning in, it's just a commercial break. People look at Donald Trump as like, oh, he's got all this money, he'll do anything for money. But the fact that he got money shows you that he won't do anything for money. Because I got a lot of money. You can't buy me. You can buy somebody that don't got a lot of money though. That's why they really be mad at Trump, because they can't compromise him by throwing him a bone here or there just to let him, give him the key to the damn country. Yeah. I think Joe Biden, you know what, he might be just the perfect person, because he's so old. He's so, trying to be careful with my language here, man. YouTube don't play. But he's almost like the perfect person. Like if I really want to get some shit done and I don't want it to look like it's blatant corruption, I might get somebody like Joe Biden. I might help rig the election to favor a guy like Joe Biden. Think about it. The FBI pressured all these big tech social medias and everything to cover up these Hunter Biden stories. I know personally, my last channel got taken down because of a lot of this stuff. You talk about the Hunter Biden story, you get hit with misinformation, but it came out that it was true. So are you going to let my channel go back up now? Now everybody, it's going to come back on. It's just a commercial break. But you got all these people everybody got their hand in this shit. Everybody campaigned more than Joe Biden. They just let him sit in his basement while they ran the show. FBI pressured everybody to suppress these stories. It comes out that these stories are true. Really. Cheesy, salute. Yeah. Vibe Life, Biden is definitely a puppet. Dark Matter, that's a fact. They are literally demonic. Check out some of my documentaries on low vibrational energy vampires, demons, whatever y'all want to call it. Man, we can go deep about that. But yeah, man, he might be the perfect candidate to get some shit like this off. Can they pull it with somebody that's cognitive, or is that the word I'm looking for? Can they pull it with somebody that's sharp? No, because then it looks like blatant corruption. It's like, okay, you're selling the country out. This is blatant. But what's the biggest stories when he does some stupid shit? Oh, Joe Biden's losing it mentally. He ain't losing shit mentally. They know what they're doing with this guy. The hell, this dude left our whole military in Afghanistan a couple years ago. That was just a mistake. He's old. Shut up. God, he's so stupid. Like, dude, it's not like him being stupid. He's just compromised. Shit. All right, they're about to come back on in a minute. You know, Trump is on right now, so they're running the ads like crazy while they got all the viewers up right now. I know this shit's going crazy on their TV show and all that, so they got to run 50 ads between everybody that's tuning in. It's about to come back on during the commercial break. I got to keep saying that because people come in and out. So, you know, I'm getting my advertisement game up, getting my presentation game up in this YouTube stuff. Yeah, man, salute everybody that's pulling up. Magneto, salute. You know they crossing the state line. Cass, salute. All right, it's projection, yeah. Glenn Huggins, definitely salute to you. All right, they're about to come back on right now.
Anywhere. Fox News Audio on Sirius XM. America is listening.
All right, here we go.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left tonight. Thank you, President Trump. Everybody here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Back in New York City tomorrow and Thursday for a live audience show. Hannity.com. Tickets are free. Let not your heart be troubled. Greg Gutfeld is up next. We'll see you tomorrow night.
What a great show.
What a great show. All right. All right, and that's all for that right there. What do y'all think about that? We'll end this off, you know, so it's good on the rewatch playback value and all that. But yeah, and for the people that's probably rewinding it and stuff, I'll keep this up. Yeah, man. So they're really coming after Donald Trump. And yeah, Dark Meta, definitely salute to you. I'm going to check out some of your content. Check out some of mine. I'm talking about I make some good videos, documentaries. Ah, man, I'm talking about we go in on a lot of this stuff, dude. I've been really heavy on the Ocean Gate, really heavy on the Sound of Freedom movie. Even showing some shady stuff behind the Sound of Freedom movie. Not just everything positive about it, but, you know, I have been defending that movie, but I also been showing some stuff about some shady characters behind it. So definitely want to check that out. Big salute to Donald Trump, man. You know, hey, they're coming after him for a reason. And a lot of liberals, they like to say, oh, the system is corrupt. It's corrupt. But they don't question the system when the same corrupt system is going after one guy that calls them corrupt as well. Donald Trump calls them out for being corrupt all the time. But the lefties and all that, no, it's like, no, they're not corrupt when it comes to Donald Trump. Trump is so evil that even the corrupt system doesn't like him. As if, like, people are all of a sudden moral when it comes to Donald Trump. Man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. What type of logical thinking is that, man? When both political parties, yes, the Republicans as well, are going after a guy like that, you better start asking questions. Start figuring out what is it this dude has done. Oh, you could look back into his presidency and see what he's done. Epstein went down. Everybody likes to point out these little videos when Trump, years ago, at some party, kicking it with Epstein or whatever, but don't question, how did he get all this information on Epstein? Well, obviously he had to know the guy, right? So Epstein goes down under him. They do the Operation Broken Heart under Donald Trump, which went after a whole bunch of people on the internet over these sexual crimes and shit like that. Donald Trump was kicking ass, okay, when it came to a lot of this stuff. And now, ever since that, while he was doing all of that, all the leftist media could do was say he's racist and pin this KKK shit on them, knowing that the same party, the Democrats, that's pushing this KKK shit onto the Republicans, so-called the big switch, they the ones that created the KKK. And then back in the 60s, who was the president? Lyndon B. Johnson? He even admitted, he said, I will have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. How do you think they pulled that off? It's called the big switch. Let's point our finger at the Republicans, project what we're actually doing onto them, make us look like we're helping black people and minorities, and then all of a sudden we get them off our back and they go over there picketing towards the Republicans, the wrong people. That's the big switch right there. Okay? So yeah, this same system that's doing all the oppression and shit like that, point the fingers, the guy Donald Trump that's actually going after them and actually did a lot of work exposing their buddy Epstein, exposing a whole bunch of shit. They create all these stories against him, this never-ending witch hunt. Now they're going after him about this Capitol riot bullshit that he did not incite. He actually had feds over there encouraging all types of violence, encouraging all types of unrest. People shitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk, which I actually agree with. That's the only thing I agree with about that Capitol riot. Salute that guy that took a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Okay? That's all I care about. Shit on that desk. Alright? You are a patriot for that. Shit. Alright? But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say right there. Definitely tune into my content. A lot of great videos. Yeah, shit it right on her desk. If anything good came out of that Capitol riot, I wouldn't have been mad if Donald Trump said, be peaceful, but shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk. I would have supported that. I still support that. All right, Trump, if you want to tell somebody to do that, you're all good. All right. But yeah, man, salute everybody that tuned in. About to get up out of here. End this short for the replay value. And I'll be live again about some other stuff. Definitely check out my content. All right. You know, all good videos and everything. Salute everybody that tuned in. I ain't woke. I'm up.